Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
EM likes to come over to the place I bought from her and take stuff. I'm not going to go into much detail, but my mom and I both live at an RV resort. She bought a lot there 3 years ago and recently bought a second lot. She couldn't get financing for it, so I co-signed on the condition I got to buy the first place from her while she moved into the second place. Both places are on one loan and we both pay a certain amount of it. Anyways, by the time I moved in, most of her stuff was moved out of it. She left a bunch of stuff behind, and I went through everything and got rid of a lot of stuff and kept things. I bought the place from her and she left behind a bunch of stuff, so it becomes mine, right? Apparently it's wrong. A couple weeks ago, I got home from work and my patio umbrella was gone. It's a $400 umbrella, and she wanted to keep it. I threw a bit of a fit, and so she gave me a different umbrella that she had. I was still mad because it was a crappy one that didn't work well and actually broke last week. I dropped it because I didn't want to fight about it. Then the TV at her new place broke. I said she could have the one she left behind because I was planning on getting a bigger one, but I asked her if she could wait until I got a new one. 2 days later, I got home from work and the TV was gone. Then last week, I had a lady knock on my door and say that my mom sent her, and that my mom told her she could have these concrete steps that I don't use. She measured the steps and they weren't the right size, so she didn't take them. But those are my steps and not hers to give away. Yeah, they're just sitting on my patio untouched, but it's still mine. I didn't even bring it up to her because I didn't see it worth the fight. But last night when I got home from work, I guess it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I got home and this plastic kiddie pool I have that my dog likes to lay in was gone. It was her dog's pool, but she left it here and my dog has been loving it. I feel stupid for getting so mad about a $5 pool, but it's just everything that she's been taking without asking. This morning I went over to her place and I took back the pool, and I was thinking about taking back the umbrella too, but I would need another person to help move it. I sent her a long text too saying that she can't take my stuff without asking and that it's my stuff and not hers anymore. I would lock my doors so she can't get in, but she comes over and lets my dog out from his kennel, and she takes him to her place to play with her dog for a few hours. Still, my dog is only kenneled for 4-5 hours a day versus 10 hours, and I really appreciate that. But it's not fair for her to take my things. I've been considering locking the door, but it's not fair to my dog to be kenneled 10 hours a day. I don't know what to do. Story 2. Entitled Dad makes me lower price on my Pokémon background. I'm selling a couple stacks of very old base set Pokémon cards that my friend asked me to sell for him. There were a couple people pretty rare cards, and I'm already selling them for $40, which is a very good price, as on the market people were selling their base set cards for way more. I was selling them on OfferUp and then I met him. I'm literally just copying our text from the app. Him: would you do 20 for my son's birthday? That's all I have. Me: no, I'm sorry. Him: is it that you can't or you just won't? But thanks. Now I got to go tell my son that you guys said no. Hope you have a great day and thank you truly. Me: if you're trying to guilt trip me, it's not working. I'm sorry, I can't go lower as they're not even mine. Him: and my guilt tripping you, dude, and I'm glad to see that's funny. Do you have kids? Do you know how hard it is to tell the kid that you can't get in what he wants, especially for his birthday? I don't find it funny at all, bro. It's not no guilt trip. It's not feel good to tell your kid you can't do something for him. August: some douche doesn't want to come up $20 off some Pokémon cards that he doesn't even want. I'm just being real with you, and from the looks of it, you're selling your kid's stuff to lol me. All that stuff's mine. I'm 15. I'm actually saving money for my first car. And in all honesty, I couldn't care if your kids cry. They have to learn they can't get all they want. And I'm already selling these for cheap. And they're very old cards. And my kid is a good kid, just less fortunate. But you should learn to be humble. One blessing a day will keep the devil away. Sometimes it's just called being thoughtful, kind, and compassionate of someone less fortunate than you. Me: maybe you should teach your kid to learn to appreciate what he has. Him: hope all works out for you, and oh, he doesn't cry and acts more mature than you and has a better heart than you, lil punk. Me: just because I want lower my price because it's already very low doesn't mean I'm a lil punk. I'm so sorry. Story 3. Entitled Dad annoying. I wasn't ecstatic to hear from him. Apologies for the rant/vent and the woeful phone formatting. My dad, M57, and I, F24, have had a strained relationship for a few years. 4 years ago, I introduced him to my boyfriend and Dad was drinking in secret, got maggoted at like 2 p.m. and thought I wouldn't notice, just so everyone has some idea of what I'm dealing with lol. Then never apologized and opened up and cried once after I spent the year largely ignoring him. Didn't actually acknowledge what he did wrong, but was more just upset I wasn't buying his crap anymore. Today, I got a call from him. He's been woeful recently. Struggled with the lockdowns and ensured he alienated everyone who could stand to be around him through the process. Me, my brother, M21, and my sister, F15, can't really stand him at the moment. He is a single parent to my 15-year-old sister who is admittedly a handful due to it being that age and him being pretty awful with her, so they have little reaper. He can be difficult to get along with if you aren't into mid-90s rock, evening ABC or sports. My sister has been on the heavier side, and he would comment about it a lot. She is also very much a part of the younger culture that has a big focus on mental health, and Dad would always tell her she was faking it for attention, so as you all can imagine, that was a really fun and stable upbringing. My dad follow his mom and Dad's parenting style. His mom a nasty alcoholic and his dad, ex-Marine and completely void of any tools for communicating with people and had PTSD. My dad has lied about things my sister has done to absolve himself and excuse his reaction, and then never admitted to it, even when caught out. For example, he once refused for my sister to cook dinner and called her cooking shit. I got mad and asked why he said that, and he told me she was trying to cook him celery and mince pasta. I took this back to my sister, and she confirmed he was lying and knew it was just a normal bolognese. I asked him about it, and he denied ever telling me it was anything different to a bolognese, but still maintained it was shit. It wasn't. She made it for me that week and it was great. He gets maggoted and picks fights with my sister, thanks grandma, and is just general too strict at the wrong moments, and then not strict enough when it really matters. Anyway, my dad like 2 weeks ago called me and was telling me about how he is moving to work part-time because his second job is parenting a teenager. Now this is an issue because 1. He doesn't do much parenting beyond the laundry. 2. She is at school during the day and often won't come home anyway, will be working or at a friend's place. 3. He is struggling for money, which is one of the biggest reasons he's so miserable all the time. He has no assets due to bad business choices and never moved beyond being a waiter that can barely hold down a job due to the amount of drinking he does at work. So he's telling me how it's so difficult to parent that he needs to work part-time. I tell him not to use my sister as an excuse and admit it's for health or mental health or whatever. I didn't care if he needed to work less, but I thought it was self-indulgent to pretend it's for altruistic, I'm a great parent reasons. I then highlighted that my mom, not related to my sister, raised both me and my brother single-handedly while working full-time the entire time we were at school. He made some nasty comment about how she didn't really do that much and just generally downplayed the effort she put into making sure me and my brother were well looked after. He was a weekend parent at most. I got pissed and told him to shove it. Hadn't spoken since. Got a call today. Pick up the phone, just generally dreading the convo because he will say something dumb or rude. I wasn't overly enthusiastic, but I wasn't nasty. I know the drill with my dad. He pisses you off and then waits 3 weeks and expects you to forget it. So I do. Because it's easier. So I was just trying to get through to convo. Dad picks up on my tone after a couple of minutes of small talk and says how it didn't feel like I was coming back to him. I laugh and say I wasn't exactly keen for the call. He then says, well, why didn't you tell me to call you back in a couple of weeks? I laugh again as he again seems to think time will solve his issues and generally doesn't have any other solutions. I don't really say anything, I just stutter and am just generally looking for a way out of the convo as I knew this would happen. He then snarkily asks, what are you, off your rocker or something new? Oh, I'm pissed. Want to call me crazy for not being super keen to speak to you? I was crazy for bothering to answer the call. I didn't go off, I just again laughed at him and said one of us is, but I don't think it's me. He got mad and disconnected the call. Can't wait to do this all again in 3 weeks lol. Why can't we have well-adjusted parents? My mum is part of the canon cult, yet my dad still takes the cake for most annoying parent. Impressive shit, Dad. The bar was low, and yet you find a way.